what we're looking at here is the importance of computers. And what's really an important thing to look at is to think that a computer is anything which takes inputs, performs some processing on them, and then has outputs. And this is all that a computer is. So we often think of a computer as a PC. Possibly these days we might think of it as a tablet computer or a netbook, something like that. But that is not all of what computers are. And computers in our lives, when we think of them as inputs, processing and outputs, suddenly computers are everywhere and they're doing a huge amount for us. And obviously important, very extremely important things that they're doing are to do with safety. So they're running systems in nuclear power stations. And if they go wrong, suddenly we're all going to know about it. And they're doing signalling for train lines, for example. These are really important things. But I think to look at the importance of computers overall and to see how they're important in our lives, what we want to do is take a reasonably normal life that's not doing particularly anything out of the ordinary, so not something highly adventurous like running a nuclear power station, just an ordinary life, and see how many computers are being used in someone's life. And so I'm going to take someone and I'm going to call him Jack, just for the sake of having a name. And this is going to be the story of Jack's life on a pretty typical day. And so what's going to happen, first of all, he's going to get up and he's going to find that it's not freezing cold. The temperature in his house is okay, and also that there's some hot water in order for him to have a shower. This happens because a thermostat is constantly measuring the temperature, and if the temperature gets too low, then it's going to turn on the heater in the boiler. And you're going to be able to set on the thermostat, so you've got an LCD display, you've got some buttons, and so there's some inputs here, some buttons. There's an LCD display, which is an output. There's also the output of the heater on the boiler, and that's going to be processed. Very simple program, but it's still going to be a computer processing that signal to see whether to turn on or off the heater. And so just at the beginning of the day, before he's even got up, there's a computer which is already working in his life. He gets up, has his breakfast, and gets to the bus stop, and there's an LED sign saying at what time his bus is going to arrive. Obviously, he's a bit of a late riser because it's 11:01. And again, there's a computer here. This is the output of the computer telling it exactly which of the LEDs to turn on. And there's an input which is going to be where the bus currently is as it moves on. And there's going to be some inputs of perhaps the timetable that someone's inputted into it. And it's going to be processing that to work out how long till the next bus comes. Then Jack gets onto the bus and he starts using his MP3 player, quite an old one by the look of it. Again, inside that there is a computer, so he presses a button to say which track he wants. A computer is then decoding an MP3 and then it's converting that into audio so that he can listen on his headphones. Another computer's being used in Jack's life. Gets to school, finds himself in a computer room, quite an advanced one. It's got lovely tablet monitors, and again he's using a computer. In this case he's using it's a graphics tablet as a display, and his input will be with a pen and the output will be what's displayed on the screen. Obviously more simple computers, we all understand that's a computer, but this would still be a computer, so would a tablet. Then he gets home, and in order to get home he suddenly finds that he must have won the lottery or something because he's got this amazing sports car to take him home. What's interesting about a sports car though, or about most cars today, is they contain a lot of computer electronics. So there'll be computer electronics for your GPS, your global positioning system, and there'll be computer electronics in something called the ECU, the engine control unit, and that's telling it how much fuel it's going to be putting into the engine. It's also doing other things in the engine control unit, like if the wrong key is inserted or if there isn't a certain chip inserted, then it won't start the engine in order to be more secure to stop thieves from stealing the car. So there's an awful lot of computer equipment, especially on things like stereos as well. There's a lot of computer equipment going on inside a car, and a lot of it's essential just to make the thing work properly and to run at all. So when Jack gets home, he decides he's going to have a microwave dinner because he's missed his dinner. As we see here, he's a bit of a late riser. So he runs his microwave and puts in the number of minutes, and then the microwave's counting down and running the microwave for him. Now all of this, the outputs here will be the motor to spin the tray around. The output will be the clock, so the LED or LCD, which is showing him the time left. The inputs will be the buttons, and then it's processing that in order to turn on the microwave, turn on the motor, and put different outputs onto that LED display. Jack then finds that his friends are going to the cinema. He wants to go, so he goes to a cash machine, withdraws some cash. So again, inputs, the buttons, outputs will be the money and the screen, whatever's displayed on that. And there's another computer which is running that part of his life. And then finally he gets to the cinema, and he's sitting down, realizes he's in one of these newer screens, digital screen, and so again, that film has been downloaded or sent to the cinema, and it's now stored in the cinema, and then someone presses a button which is an input, and then a huge amount of decoding, a huge amount of processing is going on in order to display every frame of that film on a projector. Massive load of computer work going there. And then Jack gets home and finds that he's watching his digital TV, and in this case, obviously a digital TV has got a computer inside. It's taking the signal from the airwaves or from the satellite, and then it's decoding that, and then it's processing it in order to put a picture on the screen. And so what we can see here, when we say the importance of computers, we can think of really important tasks that computers do, like flying planes, running nuclear power stations, but just a very ordinary life, with the exception of this car, obviously. With a very ordinary life, we find that there are computers absolutely everywhere now in our lives which are doing a huge number, some of them very simple tasks, some of them are important tasks.